whether you admit it to yourself or not, every person who decides they want to become a journalist secretly or not so secretly hopes that one day you'll win the highest award in your profession.
You were mentioning before the break about, how you handle it depends on the day. I mean, I understand, like, you poured so much of yourself into this project. So naturally and expectedly, you would take that very personally when people start to come at you. But nevertheless, in doing that and coming after you, people are trying to discredit you on a whole new level. I recently saw the story where they went back and looked at a letter to the editor that you wrote like 25 or so years ago and tried to use this as some kind of gotcha moment. The piece has made you a target. What has that been like to, not just you, but your family as well? What has that been like to adapt from going from a journalist putting out important work to suddenly being a target of some disingenuous and truly bad faith actors?
Yeah, it's hard. For most of my career, I just wrote what I wanted and nobody knew who I was. I've been writing about, racial segregation in schools and housing and police violence for, 10, 15 years. And it wasn't until I wrote something about our nation's history of slavery that all of a sudden I became, a target. And it's stressful. Like when they found, I didn't even remember the piece that I wrote when I was 19 years old. And I was like, damn, like they're digging like that. So I understand what the effort is, and it's definitely not easy. But at the same time, I understand, like, the bigger the platform and the bigger the megaphone, it's not all going to be positive. The fact that so many people are engaging with the work is, of course, then going to also have a lot of people trying to discredit it. And one thing that I do a lot, which my husband doesn't think is helpful, but it's helpful to me, is I just think about what someone like Ida B. Wells went through. And I guess I just try to put it in perspective that, like, whatever little bit of struggle I feel is like nothing compared to what the ancestors who paved the way went through. And so I can deal with it, I guess. Now, when people are threatening to burn down my house and my mom's house, that was a bit much, but in general, I can deal with it, but it's not easy. You just realize, like, you have to be so much more careful. I mean, like when Twitter first started, it was like a text message. Like, you could be much more freewheeling, and I'm a very irreverent person in general. So I say off the cuff things. But now when I say them, it gets quoted in an article like I'm being serious, and, it's on Fox News. So I just can't live my life as freely and as openly. I just have to be much more careful than I used to. And I don't really like that, but it just is what it is.
Oh, real quick, Nikole, I think you have a piece of lint in your hair. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little white piece of lint.
I do.
Yep. So make sure you get that out. That's a great color. Not everybody can rock that color.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. All right.
It didn't start out this bright, but just, I don't know. You start getting used
over
to
time.
It, and it starts getting brighter and brighter.
Okay. So with you having to make these allowances for the fact that, you're famous now, right? Okay. You are famous. I would put
a small group of nerdy people. Yes.
I know. Not a small group of nerdy people. I think there is a lot of people who know who you are now. To that end, have you had maybe a cool celebrity experience as a result? Look, I saw you on with Oprah. Okay. So Oprah knows who you are. That's pretty famous. But despite the downside of being threatened and having to live your life differently, has there been an upside, like a cool part of maybe somebody you met, somebody who read the 1619 Project and loved it that you didn't expect? Give us a story here, if there is one.
Yeah. I mean, I actually would say the cool experience is Oprah, because she loved the project. I'd never talked to Oprah in my life, of course. Why would I? And it's been like super supportive. And we had a conversation about, ways to expand. And then I get like this, text message, and it's like, freaking Oprah. And then she asked for she asked for like my autograph on the 1619 Project. And I'm like, why on earth would you want my autograph? And we had a meeting And it's so funny because like I actually really don't care about celebrity. Like if I see a famous person, I'm the person who will never go up and ask you, you know, introduce myself or ask for an autograph. Like I'm an extrovert if I know you, but I'm actually quite introverted if I don't know you. So it's just not my style. But when I met her, I literally just wanted to crawl into her arms like a baby. Like I was like, there's like the way she smelled and her hair and like just everything was just perfect, and her voice. And I was like, oh my God, you're just like, you know, you're worried when you meet someone who you have admired and known your whole life that they're gonna do something to disabuse you of like how you felt about them. But that wasn't the case at all. And I was like, I just wish she would hold me, which sounds a little crazy right now.
No,
but
I understand. I always said that if I ever met Oprah, I sort of had this feeling when I met Michelle Obama. It's like Michelle Obama hugged me and it felt like my soul left. And I was just like, that's what I needed.
Weird.
Like, it is very odd. You just want her to hold you and tell you everything will be all right.
Exactly. And you're like, you know, she's a person, but no, she's more than that. So
when Oprah texts you, do you read the text in her Oprah voice? Because that's what I would do. You're like,
I don't think I do, but now I'm sure I will.
Yes, it was like I would hear her voice saying the text, and that would just make that experience that much more, you know, it would make it great. And I would also find random reasons to text Oprah. Like, have you texted Oprah just like, hey, you watching Greenleaf? Like, have you hit her with that?
No, I feel like I'm not trying to abuse the privilege. If she's not initiating it, I'm not doing it. I don't want her to be like, let me change my number or block this woman's number. So no.
And Nikole, and that is why you are infinitely better than me, because I'm a child and I would be hitting Oprah up, like hitting her with memes, like, yeah, Oprah, you see this? She's like, why did I ever meet this woman? And of course, right? Now I'm sure that Oprah will never give me her telephone number, so it's never happening. So in addition to you know, how the project has changed professionally, has changed your life professionally, do you feel more pressure? Because, you know, for most journalists, winning the Pulitzer is the pinnacle of our profession. So you do that, you put out this amazing project that will stand, I think, for generations. Everybody's like, all right, what you got next? Yeah. Do you feel more professional pressure as a result of having done this?
So definitely almost as, you know, as soon as the project published, people are like, what's next? And I'm like, can I recuperate from the last 10 months? But I don't feel that pressure because I already know, like, I'll never produce anything like the 6019 project again. It's a once in a career project. So because of that, I don't feel pressure because it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm retiring or I won't produce good work anymore, but there just will never be a project like that. There'll never be a moment like that. There'll never be a chance to do an exploration like that. So I don't feel pressure in that way. And honestly, winning the Pulitzer feels very similar to me in that whether you admit it to yourself or not, every person who decides they want to become a journalist secretly or not so secretly hopes that one day you'll win the highest award in your profession. And having won it now, I'm like, I'm not going to win a Pulitzer again either. And that's fine because I don't have to. Like
most people don't. So
right. So
that makes sense.
You know, it was amazing how like overnight, like every time now when people mention my name, that's what they say, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. So no, I just think I always got into this to do the work that I thought was important and needed to be into the world. And everything that's come with it has been a truly unexpected bonus. I didn't ever expect to work at the New York Times. I never applied to work at the New York Times. I never expected anyone would know my name. I mean, I'm literally a girl from Waterloo, Iowa. But I did want to do work in service of our people. And so because of that, it's like really liberating because I don't have expectations. I want to do good work. I want to do work that matters and don't expect to ever repeat this last year that I've had.